Well, that was the slide that was supposed to be behind us. Anyhow, we'll go to the next one. It's not clicking. It is. So Quo Vadis Stream Processing. For all of those guys who didn't have Latin in school, it means essentially, dude, where's this all streaming to? First of all, and I've touched on it already, I think Flink is here to stay. It started 9 years ago. It went through an innovative phase. Now it's sort of the early adopter phase, but we can see that it's becoming more and more mature. It's a very diverse community, and I don't mean diverse in gender or races. I mean diverse also in terms of the companies participating in it. Smaller companies, larger companies, companies selling it, companies using it. I think there's a lot of corporate interest in Flink these days. So even the conservative analysts, and to me conservative means Gartner, are saying Flink is here to stay. So well done to all of you guys who are in that community participating too. But with fame comes responsibility. And who here hasn't heard that wisdom yet, that change is the only constant? So let me look at the world we live in. And I don't mean US or Europe or whatever. It's more of a macroeconomic thing. So Flink, I think, has seen a proliferation. What that means is it's in our mind. It's here to stay. It's there. People start comparing product X to Flink. I am now 2 times faster than Flink. Here's my LinkedIn post and celebrate me. That is actually a good thing that we start seeing competition bashing Flink for being slow. Because I think Flink is fast enough and pretty good. So it's a prolific thing. However, there's still a way to go. I think Beckett will touch on it later, the 5 stages of technology adoption, where you have early innovators and up to the late laggards, et cetera, et cetera. I think we're in that phase 2 of the early adopters after innovation, but still we need to go past that chasm of being an established framework in bigger organizations. It has to be the sort of first choice of things that we're doing. With that, open source versus open core. It started as open source, which is a typical way of starting something very innovative. But over time, and it's happened to all of the other frameworks like Kafka and Spark, it goes into an open core space. So yeah, even us at Ververica, we're doing things in open source, but we're putting also an effort into open core, because it is about pleasing the company who pays money so that I can pay my people salaries, just to make it really sure. And typically, you know that it's that era when you see, I'm 2 times, I'm 10 times, I'm 100 times, I get more bang for my buck. Then we start competing about things that are not just technical anymore, but also very emotional. And obviously, cloudification. First time I've seen cloud was about 10 years ago. It was very religious. I am all for public cloud. And others going, oh, I'm all for private cloud. And my public cloud is better than your public cloud. I think today we've come to accept that there is cloud in different flavors, in different formats. I think generally we also agree that it doesn't matter what kind of cloud you use. It's the app that you use, or the application, or whatever you run. And then you do it like the English say, horses for courses. Find the best deployment methodology in cloud. Just because it's serverless doesn't mean it's better. Just because it runs in private cloud doesn't mean it's cheaper. It can be, so always run both cases, please. And last but not least, AI. How should I say? Is it really intelligent all the time just because it's artificial? Is it just a hype? But I think we need to put AI everywhere. So I have to put an AI bot into our product just because it's cool. Is Siri really artificially intelligent because it can listen to your voice? I don't know. But it's a good thing to market. Everyone wants to buy it. It's the latest shit on the block, so to say. So let's go with AI. However, in order to drive AI, I think Flink is an excellent tool because it helps you to analyze the data as it's happening. Because if I looked at ChatGPT, it's looking in the rear mirror. It's data from the past helping me to make decisions in the future. So it really reminded me of batch processing. I have a report from a.m. in the morning telling me what happened yesterday. But anyhow, let's also say Flink is helping AI, and AI will be helping Flink. So we have to embrace it. But elephant in the room. I didn't see one, but still want to talk about one. Because, as I said, community. A community is a bunch of people who work together because they have a common cause. I do, however, recently see that there is some community abuse in the language we use and how we deal with certain achievements. What I would ask the community, and I know that some of the community aren't here, but hopefully watching it and watching it later, that we need to be a bit more respectful. We typically work for companies. Companies participate in Flink, and then there's Flink. But if the Flink community releases something, I would rather not see companies claiming it as theirs. They should always make sure that it's the community work or the company's work. And by the way, if any of the PMCs needs money to get that tick on Twitter, I'm happy to pay for it. Because I really like to reference the Flink @handle. And because it isn't ticked, I can't do it. But if I see things like official meetups with our name in it, then I'm constantly reminded of like vegan leather or organic artificial sweetener. Just throwing random adjectives into things doesn't make them better. But anyhow, so let's talk about us, Ververica. Many people seem to have forgotten who we are. It was a company started by the same people who started Apache Flink. We changed our name at some stage for various reasons. We're based in Germany. We have 70-something employees these days, 15 different nationalities, last I've counted. And our purpose in life is to bring data streaming to the enterprises. There are other providers who we're working with. Now I have to get a microphone. And it's a cooperative situation. Because the world we live in, we think we can't just do it all ourselves. We have to work with other companies, so evolving the streaming space for the better of the community. And I'd like to talk about Sijie, I'd like to talk with Sijie from StreamNative, he's their CEO, quickly about how we do that. Sijie, are you anywhere? Ah, there you are. Should be on.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So just move over a bit because the camera is here. So Sijie, what's happening in your world of streaming?
Yeah, just a brief introduction. My name is Sijie Guo, one of the co-creators of Apache Pulsar. For people who don't know what it's Pulsar, you can think about it's the next generation of Kafka. So what we did here is quite different from Flink. Flink is a stream processing engine, while we focus more on the data storage side. The Kafka is obviously a very popular data streaming platform that has been kind of used for building real-time data pipelines. But as people kind of start using more and more of Kafka, and they quickly realize there's a certain limitation of Kafka. Kafka is designed for a team, but it has a lot of limitation using organization. People kind of start looking into a multi-tenant, multi-protocol data streaming platform, and that's people kind of start exploring a new technology like Pulsar. We also noticed there's a kind of trend in the community is that people are using Pulsar and Flink together more and more. In the Pulsar Summit 2 weeks ago, the Discord team shared the adoption story of using Pulsar, Flink, and Iceberg together. This is all about kind of 3 different technologies, 3 different communities. They combine this on building a real-time streaming machine learning platform. And that is a great example of how enterprises can use multiple technologies together and be able to kind of achieve their business needs. And that is just one of the cool examples that is happening in the community.
Whew. That's a lot more technical words than I've been using in the last 10 minutes. But yeah, how does that change that maybe Flink is going through from a startup to a, let's say, established framework? Did you have a similar experience in StreamNative or Parser?
Yeah, I think Flink as a kind of a stream processing engine, it's not just about kind of processing engine, it's more about data streaming stack. That is, the engine cannot work without your upstream system, your downstream system. You have to work with the entire data ecosystem. So how you can get all these CDCs from different databases, how you can ingest the data into data lake. I know you guys introduced Pymon. There's a kind of an awesome technology for becoming another kind of a streaming lakehouse technology. So all these, I think, the involvement of Flink has go all the way from just a simple processing engine became a central of stream processing for the entire data ecosystem. And similarly, I think from Parser's perspective is we are a data storage, streaming data storage system that is focused on ingesting data into a system. So we have to work with different processing engines such as Flink, and as well as connecting different systems upstream and downstream. And so what we have been kind of noticed is the streaming is not about just one application or one pipeline. Streaming is about end-to-end and how you connect your business application in operation domain towards the pipelines in the analytics domain. So what people really care about here is not just one technology. And I know you mentioned about the elephant in the room is that people trying to claim that there might be a company that owns every technology, but it's not true. Is that every community, every company might have their expertise, capability on focusing on different pieces of the entire data ecosystem. And what people really care here is about a data streaming stack, how you can combine different awesome technologies together and to really address the business needs. And that's while people need Flink for stream processing, people also need Kafka, Parser for ingesting data into their data streaming pipeline. So that's kind of one trend I see here is not just one technology, it's not one company own many different technologies. It's about how we can combine different communities together to really create a real-time data streaming ecosystem, real-time data streaming stack. That is kind of one kind of point. And the second point is streaming is never about kind of end in a processing engine or end in a messaging system. It's also about how you can process the data into a data lake. And there was an exciting talk about Pymon, and that was the concept of a stream house that was introduced by Ververica in the Flink community. And at the same time, in the Parser Summit 2 weeks ago, we also kind of introduced a concept of lakehouse tier storage. The idea is to having tier storage that is able to write the data directly to lakehouse. And as you can see here, different community might came to a same or similar conclusion is the streaming is not just about the messaging system itself, but it also need to combine a streaming system with a lakehouse system. And that is a good kind of great example is the community itself would kind of work out a similar or same solution, but if we can combine multiple technology, multiple community together, we probably can accelerate the innovation much faster.
I think you read my next question because you've already answered it. Well, yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
When we choose this location, I knew there was a lake, but now we're talking lake houses and stream houses and data swamps and everything, so kind of makes sense to pick this hotel in hindsight. Yep. But yeah, thank you. I'll steal that off you and I say thank you, Sijie, and I'll see you around. And make sure to visit their booth a bit later. So I have to hide this microphone, I've been told. There's another company that I'd like to ask to come up, or a person. His name is Damian. I think he's sitting somewhere back there. He is representing a company named Evoura. They're based in the Netherlands. Do a bit of professional services, let me say. But Damian, are you still alive? I'll give you that microphone.
Thank you very much.
Then we have to move here, and don't fall off into the
Now I know how you feel. I'm nervous as hell standing up here.
Yeah, I can tell you, it's one thing rehearsing this, and then one thing actually delivering a presentation.
Totally. Yeah, right? I can feel the shakes right now. So.
I should have paid more attention in school and learned something else. So, Damian, what are you streaming about these days?
All right, so our main goal, like I said, we're more of a consultancy, and we're helping companies to kind of understand what Flink can do for them. So that's one of our main goals moving forward.
Okay, so how did you and your company get into it?
Funnily enough, it was through you guys, working with you guys. There you go. We cheated, basically.
Well, we used to work at a company before that is very old-fashioned. Yeah, but we didn't know about each other because we were in a completely different part.
Yep.
But it seemed like we've come from the systems integrating sort of last generation to an earlier generation where it's cutting-edge technology, like the next 10 years of my life I can spend here and then I'll retire sort of thing. So
yeah, no, I can understand that. And what from the past company that I worked at, it was a behemoth. And they hadn't yet realized what streaming could do for them. So I think what you talked about earlier about crossing the chasm, coming into those early adopters, into that early mass, we're starting to see that happen with Flink. Mm-hmm. So some of the companies we're talking to is Deutsche Telekom as one. We see Adevinta, which recently took over eBay and its marketplaces in Europe. Odido, which is a daughter company of T-Mobile in the Netherlands, and a few others, where we're literally talking to them and they're starting to adopt Flink.
Okay.
So it's, we see that these companies are really starting to embrace it. They're having some troubles in understanding how to get Flink up and running. There is that learning curve that a lot of companies are struggling with, and that's basically where we help them.
So that's the future of Evoura, that you have
that is the future
companies
of Evoura.
Adopt streaming.
Yeah, it's adopt streaming, but also in that full data stack area. So not just streaming's a part of it, but we help them out with their data swarms. What we tend to see with a lot of companies is they have a lot of data, they shoved it somewhere, and they don't know what to do with it.
I think we deviated from our prepared.
We have, sorry, yeah. I've got my answers written here as well.
But I did it on purpose. Perfect. Well, thank you. But any specific use cases you think you can share that your clients are working on that the people here haven't heard of?
Probably with Adevinta. So they're going from like single marketplaces into a multi-tenanted marketplace, so they can do cross-border transactions. What's unique about Adevinta is, even though it's a second-hand marketplace, they're more about the advertising. So revenues are generated through advertising. One of the challenges they're having is, if I'm a French user and I want to buy a German good, what type of ad do I serve up to you? Okay. So they have used Flink in the past for their advertising networks, and now they're trying to think of new business cases around it. They've hired us in to help them with that. Oh, sorry. I got a signal. I got to put my mouth closer to the microphone.
But yeah, what I hear is that it's not just using Flink or streaming for existing use cases. It's actually helping companies create new
business cases. Yep.
Doing something different, staying then in the market and actually...
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we were speaking with the guys from ING in the Netherlands. What they're dearly missing is a company that will help them on new business cases. So they've been using Flink, I think, since 2000 and I can't remember. But probably about 10 years, I think, they've had Flink up and running. They have a lot of business cases with it. But they want to reach out to companies who can help them to work on new business cases for them. Okay. And one of the things they're doing is they're trying to transition away from Flink being in the background to bring it more to the customer experience.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of nice business cases that we're running into.
Well, I think I'm running a bit short in time. I'll have to kick you off the stage again.
No problem. Now, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. So wrapping up, I know I'm not completely done yet, but wrapping up in terms of what we just heard, I guess, is there's a build versus buy tendency happening in the industry. I know a lot of you guys are working in great companies building it. However, there are also some who are buying it because they're moving their stack or their staff up the stack, so to say. And there's nothing wrong in, let's say, building or buying. It's whatever makes you and your company succeed is what makes us happy. However, like Damian was saying, there are also those people needed to help companies do it. And I know that some of you are working in that capacity, but the point I wanted to make is there's a big career, I think, if you today start learning about Flink, if you start jumping on that bandwagon. It's not too late just because it's already been around for 9 years. I'd be predicting a couple of more years that you can make money out of this. And if you're still not sure, go back to mainframe, because I think there's still people needed maintaining those.